Why am I now a Lego person? Why is no one in this shop? What is all this mess in front of me? Let's have a chat. Hello, I'm Andy from Secret Identity Comics in Chester in the UK. And you join me live, well, not live, but join me from the shop itself, where I usually record these videos. Welcome to our YouTube channel. So it's going to be a bit of a chill episode, just going to chat through some things. So chill. Look, I made a brew. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not one of those people that has to finish a drink going, why do people do that? Who are you trying to impress? You had a drink. Congratulations. Anyway, so where to start? So we're going to start, first of all, so this week I got quite a large collection of back issues in. I've been talking with a guy for a little while. We negotiated a deal and I went and picked up the collection. It was about 2,000 comics from his home. And there's some fantastic stuff, some lovely comics here. We've got a load of old Tomb of Dracula. We've got loads of Spider-Man. We got Conan, a load of the What If series, Punisher, loads of Punisher. And what happens next is I need to bag and board it. So I thought, hey, why don't we have an episode where I basically work bagging and boarding stuff and you kind of just watch me and I'll just chatter for a little bit. So I hope that makes something of the sense. I will start. So first I take the bag and the board and I put the comic into it. Terrible example, it's got all snared up. You didn't see that, right? First I take the bag and the board and I slide the comic into it like that. Then I secure it like that and it's done. So we're going to talk about some advanced bagging and boarding techniques here. First of all, what do you do with your tape? Now, first of all, don't use sellotape, use Scotch tape. Second of all, do you bag and board like this, one by one? And don't worry, I'm going to be talking more about other things in this video. I slide it in like that. That's nice. Ooh, and now I've got to do two things. I go one. Now, I like to do it at a slight angle. Don't know if you can see. Now, there is a slight prejudice to this, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Angle like that. Why? Hold right hand, left hand. Because you've got the angle, it so easily just opens up again later without any danger of damaging the tape. Now that is prejudicial towards the right-handed of us. And I know that's not everybody, so I apologize if I've offended you. So that was a bit of a slog, wasn't it? What I like to do to speed things up and streamline it and make it a bit less stressful is there's a taping method that was devised by the ancient Greeks. It's called the Hernandez method of taping thy comic book, with an E at the end, obviously. And the special method, and I think really only comic shop owners, are let in on the secret. But now in this crushing expose from Secret Identity Comics, I'm going to let you in on what I do. 2 cups. And I just do this. And you just go round and round and round like that. And you just put the tape on. Right, so we'll talk about some other things while I'm doing this type of boring stuff. Lego! I said at the beginning in the stinger, if that's the word, why am I now a Lego person? And it's a good question. So, in this city, in Chester, there is a food market. Well, sorry, I shouldn't call it a food market. They don't like that. It's a market, which has a lot of food. And in said market, in the center, there is a glass cabinet. And it is filled with Lego models of shops and sites and tourist attractions of Chester. So it's a really funky little thing. And no doubt I'm showing pictures now, which is more interesting than watching me do this tape. Hang on a minute. And it's amazing. It's so freaking cool. And guess what? Guess who the latest edition is? That's right, it's Primark. No, it's not. I jest. It's Secret Identity Comics. We now have a Lego Secret Identity Comics in the market. Awesome. There's little me, and there's a little Jamie, my missus, and Batman's visiting, the comic book guy from The Simpsons. And it's really hard to show on photos, but inside there are comic books. So there's like, instead of Watchmen, there's Brickmen, and there's stuff like that. It's really cool. It's really cool. I've finished with the tape now. As you can see, look, I've done a flowering of tape. That's what the ancient Greeks called it. Ching, cheers. So let's take some of these comics out in no particular order, which is a crime because they are in order. In fact, no, let's start there. Hey, okay. Now they've come in bags and boards, these comics. And the comics bags and boards are not to the standard I would require or wish them to be. So I'm going to take them all out and we're going to rebag and board them. But there's some fantastic stuff here. This is Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man, isn't it? Yeah, and some brilliant covers. Right, so where was I? Yes, so the Lego City. This is going to take forever. I'm doing this inefficiently. I'm not delivering content efficiently. I am doing two things at the same time, both poorly, which, if anything, should be the name of my biography. Did too much, badly. So, Lego. So, we are now in the Lego market, which is, it's so cool. So going to visit that was freaking cool. It's an honor to be part of that crew, and it's just so cool. And I mean, yes, hopefully it's good advertising for the business too, because people will see, oh, they didn't know there's a comic shop in Chester. But above and beyond that, it's just freaking cool. It's one of those things I've got a photo, I'll look at that. Even when I'm an older man and I'm on my deathbed, I'll be like, bring me the picture of Lego me. And my daughter will be like, don't you want to see me? No, Lego me. I bequeath all of my business interests to little Lego me. So it's really cool to be in there. And I really enjoyed that. So that's cool, isn't it? Other things to talk about. We've got some comments on some videos, which is amazing. Get comments on videos. I'm going to read some of them. Are you liking my unbagging technique? It's pretty swish, isn't it? Right, come on, Andy. Content. Drink. Oh, that was very calm and quiet of me, wasn't it? Not very British. Right. We've had some bangers of comments. First of all, thank you to everyone who has done it. It being 2025 and the information age, it's incredible, isn't it, that you are watching me now. Wherever you are in the world, as Partridge would say, this channel has a potential audience of 7 billion. And here I am talking to you, reading things off printed pieces of paper, old school, because, no, there's a point. Because some of these comments relate to my video on physical media. So I couldn't read that off a screen, could I? Right, so if you didn't watch that video, A, why not? And B, it was about the fact that I think physical media is A, here to stay and actually going to increase as people get more and more just battered by the algorithms of the world, the constant incessant trilling of your little computer in your phone with your notifications from Facebook, Instagram, text messages, WhatsApp, phone calls, everything, traffic notifications. Spotify's got a new playlist that it apparently wants you to listen to. Just all these things, just constantly bleep, bleep. And that's just your phone. You've got your work computer. You've got all these things. And so physical media is a place to relax. It's where you can actually turn off and better connect with what you're doing. And it's good for your brain. And on this one, I would say most people seem to agree with me, which is, I mean, A, they should, and B, heartening. So GS Design Studio UK said, I wake up, I check my phone and tablet, I go to work and stare at a screen for 8 hours, I come home, phone, tablet, TV, I draw digitally, I need, in capitals, all right, Trump, to sit and read a paper tray. It helps transport me away. I mean, I completely agree, and clearly you agree with me. Orange Fox Joker, our good friend. For me, if I'm spending money on a comic, I want that comic in my hand because it feels like I've got something for my money, rather than paying digitally and not truly having a copy. This is something I didn't actually think of, I suppose, when I did the video, and it's ownership, isn't it? I like sort of retro video games a fair bit, and that's something I hear a lot of, is that a lot of the content is now available digitally. You download it to your PS5 or whatever, but you're at the mercy of the servers. And if Sony sells out to so and such decides, oh, do you know what, that content's been there for 10 years, we're not going to keep digitally warehousing Mega Man 7, and they turn it off. And you're not owning it at all. You're just paying for the license to access it effectively, which is naughty. And I think is a very fair point. Now, that obviously is slightly different with comics. Actually, no, it's not. It's not different with comics at all, is it? Because, of course, if you're reading things digitally, you're beholden to them having it on their server and continuing to have it. So excited, I need tea. Tea, by the way, is drunk, well, the way I drink it, black with no sugar, bitter, like me. So I like that. I think Orange Fox Joker raises a very good point there, and kind of an obvious one that I somehow overlooked. Christopher Moon, Light Production, says, I see it too, and I actually agree with you so much, thank you, that I'm going to invest in a printer next year to do limited run comics and magazines. That is freaking sweet. I really, really like, I think, I'm not sure if it's on the angle of the camera, but, you know, some of these indies that I've done where people have, I mean, that, to be clear, that's professionally printed, but not all of them are. And he's doing it himself. You know, he's not allowing the gatekeepers to stand in his way. And I got a lot of time for that. So when you've done that, let me have a look, please. Jade5360. We used to appreciate and fully consume things before because it was special. Digital is disposable. Physical is quality. And us physical consumers will save this culture for posterity. That will be the collector's legacy. Nice. Nice. I like bringing in the form of legacy there. And I think you're right, Jade5360, if that is your real name. There's an element of posterity. Now, I think there needs to be a balance, just for the sake of fairness, because yes, we are preserving these things for posterity, but it is sort of subject to the elements, isn't it? I mean, look, this is such good copies of these comics. They're so great. This one dates 1980, and so it's almost as old as me. And the colors just pop on the covers still. And there's some, oh, I love the old adverts. They're just amazing. But God, all I can find is adverts. I don't know if you can see, but there's some yellowing to the pages, commensurate with age. Commensurate with age. They will age. That's 44 years old, 45 years old. And it's only going to get older, and it will deteriorate further. Now, by bagging and boarding them, as we're doing here, we're going to greatly lengthen that lifespan. But we do need this digitally as well, I think, because in 100 years, in 200 years, this will no longer probably be the fine specimen of posterity. We need a balance of both, probably. I say regretfully. I wonder what people think of that. Anyway, so all right, I've unsheathed this little bundle. So let's start encasing them in plastic. And I'm not even showing you these comics, which is a great shame because they're brilliant. So as we start bagging and boarding, we will give them a bit of attention. Now, next up here, what do? Do I one by one, or do I make up a little collection of ready-made bags and boards? Comic. Variable, depends on my mood. I'm going to build up a little collection. Again, just look at some of these. They're just mega. And this is just the spectacular Spider-Man stuff. Like I said, there's Tomb of Dracula, there's Amazing Spider-Man, there's Daredevil, there's Punisher, there's such good stuff. There's Avengers, there's Thunderbolts, there's loads. Mark Roberts, 9097. Digitally, you never truly own. You're always at the whim of a database and how well that's maintained. Or if you've downloaded it, how well you maintain your own data. But physical media, not only do you physically own it, but it's a commodity. If you've downloaded something, have grown bored of it, you can trade it in, sell it, swap it for something else. Another important thing is physical media, I find, has a connection to a specific time and place that you got, or when you first became aware of it. I can pick up ASM 300 and it will take me back to where I was when I first got it, and the memories it has will be parked by the physical item. Speaking of ASM 300, wink, wink, I don't think digital could ever do this, at least for my generation and those poor. Effing superb point, if you don't mind me saying, Mark Roberts. 9097, which I presume is not your birth year. The adverts in these comics, and they got mailbags. I mean, oh, the adverts. Strong arms, strong arms. They just take you back. They're little time warps. A comic or magazine of age is a time warp. It's not just, I mean, look at the back cover there, that you may win prizes. It's more than the comic that you've got. It's much more than the comic you've got. It's a time warp back. The fact it's yellowed and aged makes us realize that so are we. So I think that's a bloody good point. A bloody good point, if you don't mind me saying. Jack Howard, I've purchased quite a few things that I've read online for free, legally, thank you, sir. Mainly manga and webcomics with free release online. Part of it, shout out Kill Billion Demons. Shout out to Kill 6 Billion Demons, represent. Part of it is having access to it anytime, regardless of the status of a website. Yep. Sometimes it's a thought that that access could be revoked. I think that's spot on. Spot on. And then my channel, VM60W, says, I want to believe you, but I don't see a single customer during this video and walls of unsold inventory. Okay. I'm not sure if my channel VM60W is trolling me a little, trolling me a little bit there. But if not, maybe just stop and have a little bit of a think on that one. And probably the answers to your points will make themselves clear. So where are we up to with these? We are just very slowly burning our way through. As I said, I'm extremely inefficient at this. Look at that moonlight cover. That's sweet. Sweet. I'm supposed to be doing feedback on videos, aren't I? Let's do that. Then I did a video probably the week, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, depending on when this goes out, about AI in comics and whether it's going to take over comics. And my thesis was, no, not anytime soon. Though it has great potential to threaten jobs there. And I had some comments on it. And I think here I may be, well, not in the minority, perhaps. People aren't vociferously disagreeing with me, but I think maybe I've missed some key points. So it's really interesting to have these points. And we will talk through them. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. Christopher Moonlight Production has written in again. Thank you for that. Like any tool, a poor artist will do poor work with it. A great artist will create things that will resonate with audiences the world over. I'm genuinely perplexed at how hyperbolic people have become over the issue. Interesting. New technology always has an impact on society, and humanity adapts to incorporate it into its acts of creation. Very interesting. At one point, people thought that cameras would be the end of art. Yet here we all are on YouTube using them to have the same discussion. That is fascinating. Now, I had not, a couple of people made similar comments, and we'll come to them. I had not factored in, well, even realized that photography was once the demon, so to speak, because it was not true art, because it wasn't paint and pencils and so on. I had not factored that in. And are we seeing a case here of history repeating itself? Perhaps we are. I mean, history will always repeat itself, or so it seems. And Yeah, hyperbolic is the word you used there, and I think that's really interesting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple more comments, and then I'm going to come back at you with a slight rebuttal, and I'd be very interested in you coming back at me again, should you have the inclination or the time. So let's look at a couple more comments. Page 3. Ooh. Jack Howard. Thank you, Jack. It's quite a long one, this, so I may trim it, but I really appreciate the time you've taken to give these thoughts, Jack, and everybody. I've studied AI for the last couple of years. Now, I like this because he studied it, so it's not just me just shooting off the cuff. There's an element of well, I'm sure for everybody apart from me, an element of education here. I've studied AI for the last couple of years, and I've actually done some research on people's reactions to generative AI, which is the specific type that will be used in this case. Artists do not like it at all. Writers don't like it. Animators don't like it. Creatives don't like it. The big issue is the availability of training data. They are rapidly running out, and as such are taking everything available online without asking permissions. It's gotten to the point where people use special programs on their art that turns it into poison for AI. So if it gets taken for training, it will damage the model. It also sucks at reliability. Recreating text, even with it pre-written by that exact same model in that exact same conversation, results in mistakes. That makes it ill-suited for anything that requires consistency. Almost all public models are trained on articles and books, so a comic writing style will be unfeasible without custom or specialty models, which will be extremely expensive, especially once we're past this expansion phase. I didn't mention the literal destruction of electrical grids AI is causing, or the environmental damage, but these are the most relevant to comic creation specifically. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so we'll go to the last point first. I mean, again, I didn't think about the whole, well, destruction of the environment, because and I don't have facts and figures here, but as I understand it, each time AI sort of kicks in, it requires a huge amount more energy than just your typical Google search, because there's a whole lot of servers and CPUs popping away for you. And I guess the worrying thing there is, I think it's a new thing, or certainly I've only just recently noticed it. But when you do a Google search, quite often the top result is AI, like a summary explanation of anything you've asked. And I didn't ask AI to get involved at that point. I mean, yeah, you can scroll past, fine. My point is that it is using those resources unnecessarily, potentially. So that is very interesting. And it's interesting what you say about the fact creators don't like it. I mean, I can only agree with that. And it sucking at reliability. So that's, I guess that weighs down on my side of the table. And then, oh yeah, work. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this. This is going brilliantly. Bubble Sculptor. This was a very good idea. Bubble Sculptor, which is a fantastic name, by the way. It's an interesting topic. Similar opposition arose when photography started because it wasn't the true art like painting. Eventually, it became accepted. Then more opposition to digital photographs because they weren't real film. I haven't thought of that. In reality, all of these techniques, AI included, are just tools. Using real paint and canvas doesn't guarantee you'll produce anything interesting, nor does using AI to offload tedious tasks exclude the possibility, exclude the possibility of creating something incredible for the world to enjoy. It's kind of like Partridge meets Keir Starmer. I think it'll take time to find the appropriate usage of AI in creative endeavors. Yeah. So again, someone talking about the photography angle and then digging in to the point, which again, I would never have thought of, that when digital photographs came along, they were frowned upon because they weren't real film, which is blinking interesting. And I didn't even think about. So it's a good job we're having these discussions. T. You see, that serves me right, because I was going to try and do the obnoxious thing, and I did it too soon, so the tea caught my throat. Serves me right for being a smart ass, as my mum would say. Yeah. So a couple of those comments come to the point, don't they, about the fact that AI is a tool, and that's all it is. It's a hammer. And if you take that hammer to build a house or smash windows, that's up to you. It's not the hammer's fault. Which is true. My instinct still tells me that that's not quite analogous, though, because it's not an inanimate thing. Oh, it's inanimate, but it's, and I'm about to say it has sentience. It doesn't have sentience. It doesn't have agency, does it? But a hammer will sit on this desk and do nothing. AI is able to create something. Now, you could argue it's not creation, it's just giving refined examples of things that have happened in the past. But it is a tool, but it is a tool. It's a tool that can be, I suppose a hammer could be, oh, this is a thinker. What I was about to say was that AI has the ability to cause havoc. But so does a hammer if you swing it, but you need to swing it. And I suppose this is where I'm getting alarmist, as not alarmist, I can't remember what the word was that was used, hyperbolic. And I know you weren't accusing me of being hyperbolic, I'm not saying that, but now I feel I am becoming hyperbolic. Okay, so it's not going to just run off and do its own thing, you know, AI, I mean, but it has the potential to. And it feels like if you take a hammer and start smashing windows, people will know that's happened. But with using AI to make art, you're right, a good artist will use it as a tool to improve their work or do something they wouldn't have been able to do before. But a bad artist will not be an artist, it will just get AI to do it and pass it off as their own work. So I suppose the problem is that we're at the point where it's impossible to know that's happened. Smash a window with a hammer, you know it's happened. But if this was drawn by AI and the AI was good enough, and it will surely be good enough soon enough in our lifetimes, no? If AI had done every page of this, you wouldn't know. Then the question is, if you don't know, does it matter? And that is a bigger question again. Very interesting, this. This is a real thinker. A real thinker. So much so that I'm not doing my bloody job. Oh, I'm good at this. Yeah. I really appreciate those comments. It's been very interesting for me, and hopefully for people watching. I don't know where I stand on it. I'm not going to lie. I don't know where I stand on it. I still feel inside just an awkward little rub against it. And all your fine points I've understood and accepted, and I think they're completely true. I just feel that with AI, we're potentially running to a point where the cat is out the bag just maybe a bit too much. Can we keep the tail in, please? And yeah, it's a thinker. It's a big thinker. Thinking. Let's do some bagging and boarding, shall we? These are, where was I up to with the bagging and boarding shenanigans? I've not even got on to finish the second cup of tape. This is ridiculous. I'm going to wrap up in a minute because I've just rambled absolute nonsense. What I might do is, I'm just, for the sake of promoting our lovely market, I didn't even put a board in. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Honestly, I'm a machine at this when I'm just on my own. Put some music on and I'm bang, 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 bang. But this, oh, I suck. For the sake of, well, this is going to achieve two things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up. I'm going to say bye, and I'm going to just post up a little video I did with the market, and then go into the Lego the Lego shop. And it's going to achieve two things. It is going to maybe just give a little bit of promotion to the market. If you're relatively local and you've not been, it's well worth looking at. So hopefully you'll see that. If you're not local, but you'll be planning to visit the north of England, hopefully Chester at some point, then, you know, it's a good place to stop off and get your dinner, have a potter about before you come and maybe see me. And the other main purpose of including it at the end of this video is it will pad out this video by another couple of minutes. So listen, thank you so much for joining me for this spectacular edition of Bagging and Boarding with Andy. We've had a really good chat, and you'll be glad to know that in the time we've been together, and I value our time together, I have managed to successfully bag and board 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 comics. That is awful. That is bad. I need to get to work. You need to let me concentrate on my job. Goodness me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. If you've got any thoughts on what I've said today, leave them in the comment section down below. How smooth am I getting at this? But if you've got any ideas for videos you would like to see in the future, that would be great. It could be based in the shop, it could be elsewhere, it could be about comics, it could be about anything. Well, it has to be around the comic field, obviously. So thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Have a great week. I will see you next week. And this is Chester Market. So let's have a look at the market. We're on Northgate Street here. Let's have a quick look through to the entrance to the market. Let's go. Here we are at the Chester Market. Let's go. There's loads of small businesses in here. We've got Purely Pots that do plants. We've got the Shanghai Oriental Supermarket here. Oh, we got Vintage Spot, vintage clothing, fishmongers, Chester Zoo have got a stall. We've got a real butcher's, the real deal butcher's. And then we have the food hall. Loads of places to eat here. We've got the Italian place, we've got Thai, we've got a patisserie, we've got beer and cold coffee place, we've got gelato and ice cream. Oh, that's nice. Look at that, dog rooms. Awesome. Spec shop, special place for your dog treats. Gem store, place for phone repair. Pizza, very good pizza too. Roma, that's Bangladeshi food, the Sambar. Lovely bar here. Loads of places for eating. Nice bites for your burgers over there. Big Lolas, sort of tacos, nachos, quesadillas. The Market Cafe, Cheesy Bandits, Vegan House Sandwich, which is a big favorite of mine. And we have Custom. Hello, this is Andy from Secret Identity Comics, here to show you, psych, that wasn't really me, that was a Lego me. Because look, in the market, we have the Lego Chester and the newest edition, Secret Identity Comics. Look at this, there's me, there's Jamie, there's comic book guy from The Simpsons, Batman's coming to visit, and look, you can't even see some of the awesome stuff in there. Can you see it? It's got the little comics. Super sweet. Come and see it. So there's loads of local shops and businesses and just sites here. Got the Blue Coat building, Roman baths, there it is, which is nice. We've got Currans, we've got Hotel Chocolat, Patisserie there, Brook Street Cafe, favourite of a friend of mine, Dave. Sounds Guitars, Grey and Pink, famous record shop there. Maltby's that do flooring, even Abbey Taxis is represented. McDonald's, and look, we've got the Pop Fox Choir, Alter, Piegro, Bieber, I can't even speak. Cottage, look at this, M&S. Rosie's, that's a Naughty Nights in Rosie's. Cheesy Bandit, so this is the market itself, look. Colosseum. The Story House. So come and have a look at the Lego, come and have a look at my Lego, come and visit the real shop in Chester and come to the market and I'm going to go and have a drink. Listen here, bud, trying to record a video here.